Hey guys, Jeremy here, and this is Batman. But this is unlike any other Batman figure that I have ever gotten because it's not necessarily a figure. This thing is a doll. It's a Batman doll. And you know who made it? Mattel. And you know what kind of brand it is? Barbie. This is a Barbie doll of Batman. Now, hold on for a second. Dude, Barbie dolls? Seriously? But let me just break this down for you. This Batman is a 12-inch Batman from the upcoming movie Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And it is currently, arguably, the best 12-inch Batman figure that you can get right now at this price. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that a little bit later on when we do the full review. So, got this guy from Toys R Us. Toys R Us charges 44 bucks for this guy. The normal retail price is $40. So, go out somewhere else if you can and see if you can pick this up for cheaper. But I just got it from Toys R Us because I had a gift card that I could use and make the price a little bit cheaper. So in this line, there are two other figures that you can get. There is a Superman and there's also a Wonder Woman. However, I stuck with this Batman one because the Batman one looks more authentic to me as far as, the musculature and the manliness goes. In my opinion, the Superman looks a little bit too thin, looks a little bit too, he looks like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, actually, when I think about it. And then the Wonder Woman just maintains really more of the Barbie-esque qualities, the very thin neck and the somewhat of a large head. It looks more like a Barbie doll, but the Batman does not look like a Barbie doll. This thing has a stand. It has fabric. This is meant for adult collectors of Barbie things. And let me tell you, if you think that you are really high strung about like Funko Pops and the condition of boxes and all these different types of action figures, you need to go hang out with some Barbie collectors because those are the type of people that can rip your throat out. You think you're tough? Go hang out with some doll collectors. Anyway, this is a pretty cool box. We did the all the way around. You see what's going on here. And without further ado, let me ease your mind. I'm going to take this out of the box and we're going to take a good look at this 12-inch Batman doll. And here's a closer look at the Barbie doll Batman. And just by first glance, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. If you were to put this doll on your shelf next to some other Batman figures, especially ones that are of a comparable scale around the 12-inch mark or so, it's not going to immediately stand out to you that this is a doll and not an action figure. We're going to go into a little bit more detail with this guy, but first let me show you everything that's inside the box. The first thing that you're going to get here is this certificate of authenticity that comes with this specific line, because this is something that Mattel is considering to be a collecting item. This is a collector's item. It is the black label. So, if it's a black label, it's got to be special. So you do get the certificate of authenticity and you also get a doll stand. So even though this Batman stands up reasonably well by himself, if you want a little extra stability, a little extra peace of mind, here's a little doll stand. These clasps here, they don't retract and they don't go in and out. It's just pretty much standard like this. So you just kind of put this around his waist, stick it into place, and then Batman will be able to stand on his own. All right. So this guy, let me tell you, let's start with the cape. Now the cape is made of this quite thin type of material. Not too sure what this will be referred to as, but it's almost as thin as paper, but not quite. It is not the best material in the world. I don't expect it to be for the price that this figure is, but it still lends itself as being a pretty good look for Batman. You can see at the bottom of the cape, it does look like it's a bit tattered and worn, so that's really good. That's a great detail that they did with it. The feel of the cape is definitely not premium, but it's still a pretty decent cape. But besides that, let's take a look at just the overall detail of it. All right, so this first thing here that just fell out of Batman's hand, like you probably saw, this is his Batarang. His Batarang is made of this very flexible, rubbery material, and you simply put that in his hand and you can pose it however you want. I'm just going to set it off to the side for now. And let's take a look at the rest of his outfit, which looks absolutely wonderful. Really great design. And all of this is fabric. All of this is fabric. And that's really awesome because usually when you get action figures that are made up completely of fabric, they're considered to be a more premium product. So this lends itself to that very well. They captured the detail of Batman's suit really, really well. This symbol here, the bat symbol on the front, is stitched onto his outfit. So as you can see, you can kind of sort of lift it like this, and then this top part is connected to the rest of it. Another cool thing about this fabric, this sort of elastic, stretchy plastic, is that it does a great job of hiding all the joints, because believe it or not, this guy is articulated. There's around 15 points of articulation or so, somewhere around that range. Absent from the articulation checklist are things like ab crunches. You don't get an ab crunch, and you really can't move his head like all the way up, and you can't move his head all the way down. But you do get some things that I was not expecting as far as articulation goes with this guy. So for example, he has double jointed elbows. So he has double jointed elbows, was not expecting that. And as you can see here, when you do flex his elbow all the way out, it's starting to expose the flesh tones underneath. What you could do is just take Batman's gauntlet and you can kind of try to push it down a little bit to kind of try to hide that. But if not, you know, just make sure that you kind of just keep it down like that so that it's not really exposed. His hands are also articulated. His hands do swivel like this, and then for his left hand is also on a hinge, so you can hinge his fist up and down. So he does have a hinged fist, double jointed elbows. He has articulation in his legs, so you can move his legs about like this, but they have a tendency to fall back into place. So I don't know if that's just my particular doll, or if all the other ones are like this too. When you first get this and you first move his leg out, you're going to hear what it sounds like, a little bit of a snap. And I thought that maybe these were ratchet joints so that you can go like click, 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 click. But it doesn't appear to be that way, but his leg will not stay that way. It'll just go back down. That's perfectly fine. He also has double jointed knees. You believe that? Double jointed knees on this Batman. And his boot also has some well, his boot doesn't have any articulation, but it's not like glued or stapled or molded to this fabric. It kind of just swivels freely by itself. So this just kind of swivels like that. The leg itself is not moving. It's just the boot. Just the boot is moving in this regard. So even though it's kind of like a cheating articulation sort of, but you still have the ability to move his boot forwards and back if you want to, rotate it if you want to get him to stand a little bit more, if for some reason you didn't want to use this included stand right here. So that's the articulation that you get from this guy, which is really, it's enough articulation that you would want, or at least that I would care to have, you know, in this doll figure. Now, some things that are a little bit, that don't look so great that you would want to try to hide as much as you can. You see on the back of the cowl here, there's this little split right there. And it's split like that because this cowl is removable. You can take the cowl off. I'm not going to take the cowl off in this video because I hear that it's difficult to line up the eyepieces of the cowl with the head sculpt of the doll once you do that. So I don't want to fiddle around with that, but it's like that for his cowl, and also on the back of his boots. You can also see that there's like a little gap here too. There's a little gap, there's a little opening, so that if you want to remove the boot, it appears, I don't know if you really can because the bottom of the boot doesn't seem to come off, but there's a little slit right here. Who knows? Maybe if you wanted to like take all the clothes off, maybe you could. I'm not sure, not too sure what, you know, the whole doll thing, how that all works. But yeah, those are just some things to be aware of. And like I said, if you move his elbow and try to get maximum articulation from the elbow, you are going to expose the skin underneath, which you can easily hide just by simply making him hold his arm down that way. The little spikes on his gauntlets are made of a very, you know, flexible, rubbery type of material as well, so you don't have to worry about that. And because of this fabric being so stretchy, you do not have to worry about the hindrance of articulation due to the fabric because it just moves and stretches along with the Batman. So this is something that I think is very neat. It can definitely blend in. And I think that's one of the best things about this particular figure if you are an adult collector, and especially if you are a male adult collector, and you have some reservations about going and buying something that's technically considered to be a doll. it blends in very well with the rest of your large scale figures. People aren't going to know. Underneath this cowl, his face doesn't look so much like Ben Affleck. It looks more like a Ken doll. He has pretty much flawless skin, and he's an absolutely beautiful man. That's why I would not take the cowl off, because Batman has to look, he has to look rough and has to look kind of gritty. If you are good with customizing and paint and stuff like that, I would say maybe you could just paint 5 o'clock shadow along his face there to really bring out a lot more authenticity to this figure, kind of rough him up a little bit, and that'll be awesome. But I understand that things like this, it would be a little bit weird for a guy to actually want to do something like this, to go out and buy this, because it's a doll and I'm a dude and I shouldn't get dolls because what would that make me? It doesn't make you anything. It makes you someone who wants to have one of the best 12-inch Dawn of Justice Batmen that you can buy right now at a sub $40 price. You can go the Jakks Pacific route if you want. The quality is not going to be as high. It's going to be mostly plastic. If you want to customize it, I'm sure you can make it look awesome. But if you want something that has some fabric on it, this is really the best, if not the only way to go in this regard. And no one's going to judge you for it. Just feel comfortable in your own skin. And just know if you want a figure that looks awesome and a Batman that, at least with the cowl on, looks like Batman, looks kind of manly, muscular, this is what you get. And you really cannot fault the fact that, hey, check it out, man. You get this doll stand. You get a stand. You can use this with other stands. And it's, you can like have it extend. You can have it go down like this. You can have it go up like that. If you have other figures that you want to put this on, connect to this stand, you can. So it's a good value for the price. Very good detail. It was very surprising to know that this type of thing exists. Like I said earlier, not a huge fan of the Superman, not a fan of the Wonder Woman, but for Batman, it is a thumbs up. It is a collector's item. So if you are interested in this kind of thing, before the mass of collectors figure out the detail and how good that this particular doll is, just go on out to your Target, your Toys R Us, your Walmart, wherever they sell toys, and just try to get one of these. 'Cause I have a feeling that once like this really catches on and people start to, become more comfortable with the fact of buying this, especially as a guy, these type of things are, this particular figure, this particular doll, might be a little bit hard to find. Who knows? But best to be on the safe side and grab it while you can if you're interested. So that's all for this review. And please remember, if you want to see more stuff like this, like for example, I have another Batman statue coming up really soon. I'm going to do a review on that. And if you want to see that when it comes out, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And until next time, I'm Jeremy. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.